It's Nolan.
Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Yeah. Southside, nigga. Y'all know what's going on, man. Real shit. Hey. Ain't no way to stop it when a nigga poppin'. Pull up, start a problem, I got plenty options. Homies from the project, we done turn it topic. I got bennies in my wallet, fuck your all I got is all I could get. Flooded the nine and they flooded my wrist. Tell me I rap for the glamour and glitz. Got on my shit, now they rent me on list. Filling my pocket, I'm taking a trip. Call me a genie, I'm filling my wish. When it come down to me and get in my bag, I gotta get it, I pay for the lift. I got a baby, we coming legit. Roll with the big dogs. I need my cut like fit now. But it gon' shot like Sim car. Married to the game like in-laws. Do what I please, move with the breeze, like the believe. Shot this shit, love me, she come in the tease. Ready the haters, be cutting the weeds. Give me my space, oh man. Got me a taste, oh man. Flooded the face, I'm running the race, I cover the bases, all down. Nigga, don't try me, I'm on my square. Cardiac diamonds, I want me a pill. Treat all this money like I got a meal. Everything closer than it might appear, yeah. Bitch, I got my mask on now, watch your germs here. I've been getting paid since the first time on my third tip. Popping on the net, fuck a local, I got turf here. Fucking with the squad, we gon' put y'all in some merch, yeah.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this evening. That intro y'all heard is a song called Poppin'. I know y'all been asking, like, yo, bro, where the f*** you at with this music? You ain't dropped this project yet. What the hell going on? The project, I told y'all before, for those that are curious, I'm getting everything remixed and mastered by a professional because I have been doing everything myself. So all new stuff is coming, and all new versions of music that you may have heard in the past is on the way to get it to more industry level sound. All right. So that song is called Poppin', and it will be out. We're aiming for October 2nd release. Okay. Which is just a couple weeks. It's already been submitted. Shout out to TuneCore. So, hey, no further ado, we got music dropping soon, and I'm not stopping after that. I already have something in the pipeline to follow it. We're going to do a couple singles and, you know what I'm saying, get a decent little, rollout going. But it's coming. No more pump fakes, all right? Now let's get into this motherfucking Drake stuff. So, y'all know Drake and his legal team have been trying to chase down Kojo Asamoah. They've been trying to serve him subpoenas. They believe that he was involved in the so-called botting or the so-called payola scheme for Not Like Us, which Drake and his team believe is the reason why the song blew up to the magnitude that it did. And now we have another person that Drake and his legal team are accusing of taking part in this whole scheme. Somebody by the name of Josh Kaplan has also been thrown into the paperwork. They're trying to subpoena him and get to him as well. All right, we're going to read through some of the paperwork that they've submitted about this Josh Kaplan person and trying to track him down for questioning. All right. So it states here, Plaintiff Aubrey Drake Graham respectfully submits this memorandum of law in support of his motion for leave to serve a Rule 45 subpoena on third party Joshua Delsaney, aka Josh Kaplan, by alternative means, meaning they have been unsuccessful in serving him thus far. Background: on January 15, 2025, plaintiff commenced this action against UMG Recordings, asserting claims for defamation, harassment in the second degree, and violation of the New York General Business Law 349, and filed an amended complaint on April 16th alleging the same. ECF numbers 141. Plaintiff alleges inter alia that UMG published and promoted the defamatory material, which is Not Like Us, of course, which contains statements about plaintiff that are false and defamatory per se, and that it did so with actual malice. And of course, the defamatory claims that they're speaking of are the PDF thing that Drake can't seem to get past. Plaintiff further alleges that in publishing and promoting the defamatory material, UMG engaged in deceptive acts and practices by covertly financially incentivizing third parties to play, stream, and promote the recording, and then by making materially false and misleading representations and omissions to consumers. Plaintiff identified Mr. Kaplan as a relevant witness. Plaintiff has identified Josh Kaplan as a witness likely to have information relevant to plaintiff's deceptive business practices claim. Mr. Kaplan is listed as a witness on plaintiff's initial disclosures. Based on the information available to plaintiff today, plaintiff believes that Mr. Kaplan possesses knowledge relating to UMG's use of covert tactics to promote the defamatory material. For example, plaintiff believes that Mr. Kaplan was involved in directing payments and or financial incentives from UMG to third parties involved in online botting to artificially inflate the streaming numbers of the recording. Drake is not backing down from this claim. Once again, I told y'all every step of the way for the past few months that is not happening. He is not removing it from his claims. He's doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down on those very claims. And now he wants to try to bring people in for depositions to make them answer to it. Plaintiff also believes Mr. Kaplan was involved in directing payments and or financial incentives from UMG to third parties for the purpose of spreading the defamatory material online, including but not limited to third-party podcasts and streamers in a tactic known as seeding. So not only is Drake and his legal team accusing Josh Kaplan of allegedly directing payments and financial incentives for botting and streaming boosting, but they're also throwing him in the hat for allegedly serving information to podcasts and streamers. Okay? So they're saying that he allegedly took part in a smear campaign. Plaintiff believes that Mr. Kaplan engaged in this behavior through and or in connection with his relationship to Ramon Alvarez Sminko, the executive vice president and head of digital marketing of UMG's Interscope Records, as well as with John Janik. We talked enough about John Janik last week, the CEO of Interscope Records, Inc. Mr. Alvarez Sminko is listed as a witness on both plaintiff's and UMG's initial disclosures. Mr. Janik is listed as a witness on plaintiff's initial disclosures as well. Okay? So these are also people, Alvarez Sminko and John Janik. He also wants to bring them in for deposing as well. Plaintiff has repeatedly attempted to serve a subpoena ducis tecum on Mr. Kaplan, requesting 8 categories of documents. The subpoena, Exhibit 3, the requests in the subpoena are targeted at discovering evidence of UMG's use of bots, payola, seeding, and other covert methods to promote the defamatory material. Once again, him and his team just can't accept that this record was a fucking heat wave of its own. They believe it only got to this level because of a conspiracy set forth by Interscope, UMG, and everyone else involved. Plaintiff has made exhaustive efforts to locate and serve Mr. Kaplan without success. Okay? Once again, they've been trying to deliver the subpoena to him to where they believe his address is, and they haven't been successful. Despite repeated efforts to serve Mr. Kaplan at multiple locations over the course of more than 2 months and spending thousands of dollars, plaintiff has been unable to serve the subpoena on Mr. Kaplan. Remember, Drake spent about $75,000 trying to track down Kojo. Now he's saying he's spent thousands of dollars more trying to track down Josh Kaplan. Specifically, beginning on or around May 30th, 2025, plaintiff attempted to serve the subpoena on Mr. Kaplan more than a dozen times at 5 addresses in 2 states with the assistance of 2 different firms. Plaintiff employed both Nardello & Co., an experienced private investigative firm, and Capital Process Services, Incorporated, a well-established process server, in his efforts to locate and serve Mr. Kaplan. I don't want to put this man's addresses out, but they tried to serve him in, looks like, Florida and California. Capital Process then spoke with an apartment leasing officer who confirmed that Joshua Delsani, his real name, lives in apartment blank, but his lease is over at the end of June. Process again knocked on the door to the apartment. No one answered. June 2nd, a front desk staff member informed Capital Process that Mr. Kaplan had advised apartment staff that he would move out on May 31st, a month before his lease expired. Capital Process again knocked on the door to the apartment. No one answered. So he got the fuck up out of Dodge a few months ago. June 5th, the leasing officer informed Capital Process that Mr. Kaplan moved out on June 4th and showed a photo of the empty apartment. According to the leasing officer, Mr. Kaplan did not provide a forwarding address. Furthermore, plaintiff found through public searches that Mr. Kaplan was sued by his landlord at address 1 on June 4th for failure to pay the rent. The case was voluntarily dismissed on July 2nd, 2025, because Mr. Kaplan voluntarily vacated the address. Mr. Kaplan and his mother, Dina Kaplan, are both listed as residents. There's another residence in Florida, Miami, that we're not going to look up, that they can't seem to get to. They got a Pompano Beach address. God damn. I ain't trying to put this man's shit out there, but it's a bunch of fucking addresses that they tried to find him at. Now, funny enough, I'm scrolling past a lot of shit, but just a simple Google search led me to some of this information. Not these addresses, but an eviction, some S1 group or something like that they made reference to in the sequencing of that. So yeah, it's not like they did any exhaustive research, because I was able to find some of that stuff in 2 minutes. Anyway, argument. The court should permit plaintiff to serve Mr. Kaplan by the alternative means because service by traditional means is impracticable, including because Mr. Kaplan may be acting to evade service and the alternative means are reasonably calculated to ensure that Mr. Kaplan receives actual notice of the subpoena. Let me review some of that stuff. Since I'm not going to show his address and whatnot, I do want to look and see what some of the other circumstances are. So after reviewing the document a little bit further, they tried to show up at an address they thought was his brother's. His brother moved out last year, so they weren't able to serve it then. They tried to find an address on his father. The first address they found on his father was outdated. They showed up at another location, a business. They said they had never heard of Josh Kaplan. They showed up to another business. They said they had never heard of Josh Kaplan. They showed up to where they thought was his mom's residence. Nobody answered. Nobody spoke to them. So they tried to find any addresses that would have been associated with his family or loved ones and were unsuccessful. Now, interestingly enough, as I was going through this docket, y'all remember about a month or so ago, we had this R&B singer / blogger by the name of Monae Merchant who tried to file a declaration of interest, just like Joe Cat had tried to pop out and refile his amicus brief. Well, Miss Monae Merchant has popped up again, trying to file a declaration of interest once again. Of course, she's advocating for Drake, and she's trying to draw some sort of conclusion that due to Google search results and AI searches, that her name is associated with Drake, and she's got to be mentally unhinged. Like, ma'am, get the fuck on. All right. You serve no purpose here, and I'm not trying to disparage you as a person, but get your ass out of here. Okay. Now, as it pertains to the exhibits that Drake's legal team are referencing, as far as trying to serve Josh Kaplan and all this stuff, they make reference back to their amended disclosures, which is their list of people of interest for depositions. I've seen some people circulating information about Roc Nation being named. I saw some inaccurate reporting from places such as Hot New Hip Hop that are saying that Drake has amended his lawsuit to sue Roc Nation. Whoever is putting that out on social media, you're a fucking liar and the truth ain't in you. Drake is not suing Roc Nation. He is attempting to depose Roc Nation because he wants them to answer as to why they chose Kendrick Lamar for the Super Bowl performance and why certain changes were made to Not Like Us to an edited version, which I think we all understand why the edited version was played. But Drake wants them to have to come and sit forth for questioning to answer that specifically. So no, Roc Nation is not a target or a defendant in this lawsuit. Anybody who tells you that is a fucking liar. Okay? But since it's a topic and since it came up in the exhibits, Here is the list all over again. All right. So you got Drake, you got UMG, you got Ramon Alvarez Smiko, who we've been talking about today. You got Kojo Asamoah, who they've been trying to track down. You got Jordan Bell, an influencer in content marketing of Interscope. You got Steve Berman from Interscope. You got Anthony Bouchard from Hitmaker, I believe Hitmaker Services or Distribution, Tony the Hitmaker. Tiffany Bullock from Interscope. Laura Carter, I don't know who that is. Jesse Collins from Rock Nation, all right? He's the one, well, he plays a role in putting together the Super Bowl, right? Vincenza Contaccio, they say she has knowledge of relating to the defamatory material at Interscope, video and creative content. Bill Evans, Interscope from promotion. David Isaac Freely, that's Dave Free. Jody Gerson, CEO of Universal Music Publishing Group. Sir Lucian Grange, who UMG is trying to get removed from that. Jeffrey Harlston, don't know who that is. John Janik, CEO of Interscope. David Kafer from Spotify. Josh Delsaney, aka Josh Kaplan, that's who we've been talking about for the majority of this video thus far. Andrew Crongfield, UMG's Executive VP of Marketing. Annie Lee, COO of Interscope. And all of these people are going to have to answer to Not Like Us. He has his own CEOs and president, Avery Lippman and Monty Lippman. They are the heads of Republic, where Drake is signed directly to them, which is another subsidiary of UMG, right? He's saying fuck them niggas too. You got Fatima Mahadi, marketing at Interscope. Lane Mankoff. They say they want to question the defendant's use of covert tactics to promote the defamatory material. So I guess they think Lane had something to do with botting or a smear campaign as well. Gary Morella, defendant's use of covert tactics. That's president of Capitol Music. Greg Morella. Pooja Mehta. Boyd Muir. So this is the list of people, and people continue to say that these are folks, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Audio Mac. I've been seeing all types of stuff circulating on social media saying that these people are being sued. They're not. Drake just wants these people from these companies to give up any information that they may have. The NFL, PG Lang, Penske Media Corporation, Rock Nation, SiriusXM. Of course, they've been playing the song on SiriusXM, SoundCloud, Spotify, Tidal, TikTok, Twitch. They just want to get any information that they can from these people about Not Like Us. Did they receive any extraordinary or unordinary interaction from UMG concerning this song? Did they receive any under the table incentives to promote the song in a way that they generally wouldn't for anyone else? And that's basically all this is. They're not being sued. They're not going to have to put no money up. If anything, if there is any strange activity, they're going to have to admit to it. Or if there isn't, they won't. You get what I'm saying? Very simple. So that's the latest with Drake and UMG. And of course, Drake is trying to find this Josh Kaplan guy so that they can track him down and question him pertaining to potential botting, potential interaction with streamers, podcasters, etc., to seed information in their direction that would be, I guess, favorable to Kendrick, but less than favorable to Drake. Basically, Drake is trying to build a case to say that UMG, Interscope, and these third-party promoters all colluded together in conspiracy to hoist up Kendrick Lamar and defame Drake. You get what I'm saying? That's it. They can't track him down at none of the addresses that his investigative team has tracked down. They're asking the judge for permission to, maybe find a new address and just post it on the door, or see if they can find a valid email communication that they could send it to let him know that he needs to be served and brought in for questioning, which he can also protest if he wants to come with his own legal representation and say, hey, I don't have any information that's relevant to this. Please don't make me have to sit for questioning. He can object. So that's also a thing. And that's pretty much where everything stands as of now with Drake's witch hunt to try to find a smoking gun of somebody that can give him information for his beliefs. You get what I'm saying? But before we go, there are a couple days worth of updates concerning Drake in the news. Let's just get to those real quick, right? So yesterday, there was a lot of talk circulating about Drake potentially trying to end his partnership with Stake and Kick. Of course, Stake is a gambling company that he's been working with for many years. He promotes them. He's a brand ambassador. He tries to drive more traffic onto the Stake website and their subsidiaries for gambling. And then Kick is associated with Stake, but Kick is an online live streaming company that a lot of the younger streamers out here use, namely Aiden Ross, who he does a lot of streams with, right? So some chat messages ended up leaking out yesterday from Drake in Aiden Ross's chat, where he was once again voicing grievances with Stake and Kick. This isn't the first time that he's voiced some grievances in Aiden Ross's chat towards these people, but now it seems like it's getting a little bit worse, right? So there's a clip going around of Aiden Ross acknowledging this online. So it's not just about the messages, but it's also Aiden Ross pretty much confirming that things are a little bit shaky. And for clarification, I believe Drake signed a $100 million deal with Stake somewhere in the ballpark of like 4 or 5 years ago. And things aren't necessarily going in his direction, I guess. Okay, so here we have Wana. Once again, shout out to Wana. She says, gotta be quicker than that. Always going to be in the cut to clip footage before you delete that Iceman rollout about to be frozen. Drake done with Stake and Kick. So this is the clip of Aiden Ross talking about how Drake no longer wants to participate in streams for Stake and Kick.
Like follow up to do another stream because I obviously want to do another stream. He absolutely got fucking shredded on that last stream. So I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, yo, bro, I'm not doing any more streams unless it's for like brand risk, like you mentioned, like for me or some shit like that. Like he's like, I'm not doing any more of those streams though. Like I'm good. So now I'm over here panicking. I'm like, yo, bro, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is going on here, dude? So yeah, bro, I'm genuinely, I'm fucking, what's the word?
So Aiden Ross is shook up because his online bestie no longer wants to participate in any more streams with him. So, you know, he makes a lot of money off of getting Drake on there with him. Gets a lot of viewership with Drake being on there with him. So Aiden Ross is like, bro, what the, hey, what's going on here, guys? What y'all doing? My online bestie don't want to do no more streams with me. Please get this shit together. He's panicking. So here are the chats from Drake. All right, this person here says Drake seems to have parted ways with Stake after calling out the owners on Trainwreck stream. Okay, so those comments were on Trainwreck stream. I don't know who the fuck Trainwreck is. I don't be watching these people. But Aiden Ross basically came back and confirmed exactly the same sentiments on his stream, right? So we got Drake here up top. It says, fuck this goof. W's for my brother Train tonight. I guess that's train as in train wreck. Only W's. If Stake is the Warriors, I am Steph Curry. Okay? So he's saying if Stake is the Golden State Warriors, right? As in the team, the Stake team, the gambling company. He says he's the Steph Curry of Stake. As in he's the MVP. He's the leader. He's the one that brings all the success. He says we win chips for the last how many years? The owners get rich as fuck and then make us run suicides after practice still. Eat granola bars for meals and take the Greyhound bus to games. Fucking goofinos. Okay? Now, I ain't gonna lie. If I were to actually see this in real time, I would think this nigga gotta be playing. He gotta be joking. He gotta be bullshitting. This is a nearly 40-year-old man speaking in code like this, talking about Stake. You couldn't have convinced me that this was real. But he's basically making the analogy that he's Steph Curry. He's been bringing them so-called championships, as in viewership and dollars, dollars and cents. He says the owners get rich as fuck and make us run suicides, basically saying, I'm bringing in the money. All the success is being hinged off of my support of this company, but they're still basically not treating me well. We're eating granola bars for meals, which basically says we ain't eating. And we got to take the Greyhound bus to games, which of course in a basketball sense, taking Greyhound bus to games when others are being chartered on their own buses, private planes, and all that type of shit. Like, they're not spreading the wealth, he claims. So I don't know what's going on with this nigga. They claim he signed a $100 million deal, but now he's crying poor mouth. He comes back, says fucking B-Jan is on a boat with DiCaprio, tripping on ket. I hope you don't mean ketamine. I don't know who the fuck B-Jan is, but he says this person is on a boat with Leonardo DiCaprio, tripping on ket, wearing on running shoes and the worst shades known to man. He says, you are the Jordan. I guess he's talking to that other streamer. What was the name again? Trainwreck. He says Trainwreck is the Jordan and he's the Steph Curry. Which is interesting to me. I've never even heard of Drake saying anyone is above him in that regard. He says the point is B-Jan is getting a piggyback from Tobey Maguire right now in Ibiza. Max, these goofinos tonight, fuck up. And B-Jan wants smoke with me and I am about it. So apparently B-Jan is somebody associated with Staker, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Maybe an executive. I don't know these people. He says the good old memory misplaced. Fuck them. They want smoke with OVO, so it's up. Okay? Again, nearly 40-year-old man talking like a 15-year-old girl in the chat. I don't get it, but it's not for me to get. Apparently, he says they want smoke with OVO, so they're going to go to war. And who knows, he may open up a lawsuit against them for some money too, because clearly he seems to need it. Now, interestingly enough, 2025 has showed us DJ Vlad, the fuck nigga that he is. I don't fuck with him. But he's been trying to find himself on the right side of history a little bit lately. This is an old tweet from June 20th where he's talking about Drake and his alleged losses on stake. He says, Drake is lying about taking $8 million in losses on stake. He says, I spoke to someone high up in the gambling business about it. Drake is a part owner of stake. So when he makes these public bets, he is really just using house money to make them. This is proven by the odds never changing after making those bets. If those bets were real, the odds would shift. They don't, which is what I always believed. I never believed none of his stake betting was real. That money he be talking about, oh, I take $8 million. I lost $2 million. I lost this amount of money. I lost this money. I never thought he was playing with real money. But if y'all can remember earlier in the year, there was talk of, I forget this kid's name. He wasn't a kid, but he was a young man who claimed that he got snaked out of some money by Top 5 and Drake. The guy, Drake had promised that he was going to flip his money on stake. He sent him multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars or something like that. Drake was supposed to flip it and send it back to him, and he never got his money. He came out and complained and said the Top 5 ran off with his bread or something, and people claim that he went missing, right? They haven't seen him or whatever. But I never thought that Drake was using real money for none of this shit. I thought it was all entertainment. So then today we get a post on Drake's Instagram. Ironically, this is hot new hip hop reporting. Y'all need to get y'all shit together. They say Drake speaks out via IG. Treat my bad days like pathways because it was either that or the ski mask way. And once again, we see Drake posting Pinocchio, right? Now, Iceman, episode 2, he was being followed around throughout the entire city, fucking bus station, the whole nine. Pinocchio would not let him go. So now we see the photo here of Pinocchio with, what's his name? Geppetto, ain't it? So now we see Geppetto holding Pinocchio, and I'm quite sure he's trying to liken Geppetto to Lucian Grange. Pinocchio likening to Kendrick Lamar, which people were already drawing that inference from that episode. So I guess he's trying to depict this in an ongoing rollout. Seems like a load of horse shit to me, especially as, you know, in my opinion, it doesn't seem to be going all that well for Drake in this legal endeavor that he's undertaken, especially when we actually read through the transcript of the oral hearing on UMG's motion to dismiss and all of that stuff. It didn't seem like the judge is necessarily feeling Drake and his legal team all that much. Now, of course, the judge has not finalized her judgment, but she was cutting Drake's lawyers off left and right, cutting holes in their story. You know, they were basically trying to tell her that she shouldn't look into none of the exhibits that UMG brought to the table, that she should only make her judgment on whether or not to dismiss based on the paperwork that Drake's legal team have submitted. And she's saying, well, I should, if y'all want to talk about the happenings that took place during this rap battle, then why am I only supposed to take the words from Not Like Us that y'all are bringing to the table without looking at the entire back and forth exchange between Drake and Kendrick Lamar? She even questioned them and said, hey, well, what about these allegations that Drake made in the song Family Matters? What about when he claims that Kendrick Lamar's child is not his, or one of the children is not his, or that he beats his girl? What about on Tailor Made Freestyle, where Drake literally points out, talk about him liking young girls, that's a gift from me. Those are the lyrics from his song that he put in there before this song, Not Like Us, ever came out. Why am I only to look at this one song when there is a whole series of songs of them going back and forth like a feud out in public? She basically likened it to people being out in public having an argument, screaming insults at each other, and then somebody comes back later and says, hey, that one insult you made about me, you are defaming my name. I'm going to sue you. She cut holes all through their argument. So with him trying to play this game, I think it's very funny that they're trying to allege in their paperwork that UMG, Interscope, Kendrick Lamar, and all these other third parties came together to try to create some sort of public spectacle to defame him, but he's actually utilizing public spectacle to try to build his case in public opinion rather than coming to the table with concrete facts in his legal filings. I find that to be very interesting. But at the end of the day, these are all just my opinions. I'm not a legal professional. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a paralegal. I've never been to law school, so I can't tell you how this thing is going to play out. But I just can say, from my opinion, it doesn't look like he has all that much merit. But I do think the judge is going to have to, be very careful in her decision, because there is a lot riding on this as far as legal precedent is concerned. So we're just going to have to see how things move forward. We're going to have to see when the judge decides to, make her judgment, her order on whether or not this will be dismissed, because that still has not been determined. I don't really think she will, but if she does, I will be pleasantly surprised. All right. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good out there. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some batteries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.